Brit Positive Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. To keep up with us here, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and you can listen to us on YouTube and Podbean. Now, if you're listening to us on YouTube, then click that subscribe button and notification bell as well so you can see when we have posted. And if you're listening to us on Podbean, then you can click that follow button to join the Brit Positive Fam Bam and download this podcast so you can listen to it on the go. Now, we have our Brit Positive quote of the day, which is, heroes are made by the path they choose, not the power they are graced with. That is some real stuff, you guys. Now, let's get into our topic of the day, because I bet you're wondering, that's an interesting quote of the day. Well, to get in our topic of the day, before we do actually, I would like to introduce not just anyone, guys. This is a person who known me from I was born, who took me under his wing. My brother, Andre!
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
Oh, it's just one of those things. When you invited me, I was ecstatic. And now that I'm finally making my debut, we're going to have a lot of fun today.
Yeah, and you know why? Because our topic of the day, do you know what our topic of the day is, Dre?
I have an idea.
Well, let the viewers, the listeners out there know. Our topic of the day is top picks Marvel movies. Now, why I started even saying the guy who took me under his wing is because this guy here literally ingrained in his little sister's mind all Marvel movies, okay? Like from Spider-Man to you name it, I was into it because I love superhero movies, and I love them because my brother got me into them. So this is the reason why he's going to do this topic with me today. Are you excited?
I'm very excited to share my thoughts with my little sister.
Yeah, so let's get started. So I have a couple of top picks, 5 Marvel movies that I really like, and you have yours as well, right? So we're going to get into it. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen these movies that we're about to list, go watch them and then come back and listen to the podcast. Or if you want to hear the spoilers, continue to listen. It's still going to be good. Now, I'll say one of my favorites, my top pick of a Marvel movie. Like, guys, this movie, I will watch it 100 times and I can't stop watching it. Like, I don't get bored. I don't feel like I've seen it before and it's like so typical. It's just something I thoroughly enjoy. This one has a raccoon, a tree, an assassin, and a half human, half, what's it called? Alien species?
Celestial.
Oh, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Okay, this is one of my favorite Marvel movies, you guys. Like, this movie showed me 5 different people who put aside their differences to come together to save the galaxy. And in the end, they, like, became family. Drake, like, this was my movie, man.
The funny thing is, though, like, when it first came out, right, a lot of people at the time were saying, this is going to be Marvel's first flop. And me being the fan of everything Marvel, I was just like, Guardians of the who? I remember seeing them once in a while going after Thanos in it could be Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
We're not saying that's correct.
I'm pretty sure the Guardians were there. I am actually quite surprised how much Brittany really loves this movie.
I do. I really do. You know, like, when I look back on it, like, another positive I found with this movie was just how it focused not so much on race or anything, but just, like, all the characters were different. They were aliens. You got blue, green, purple, yellow, orange, and none of that mattered. Like, these guys were just their own people, and everybody was weird looking, and yet everyone was accepted, I feel. I mean, I know there was a part where the guy, what's his name? I know, you imagine, this is my favorite movie, and I don't know the villain's name, but he's the guy who's, like, blue and black.
His name was Ronan.
Ronan! See, it's such a typical name, too. Yeah, he clearly wants to kill the human, not the human race, what's the one that, what was the alien that he wanted to kill?
Xandarians?
Yes, okay, just so you know, I'm not a Marvel, like, geek where I know verbatim certain things. I just know that I love the movie. My brother is the one who has to explain certain things to me because he's really all about Marvel and the comics and that stuff. I'm just coming from a movie side of things, just to clarify. But yeah, I really liked that movie of it, just how everybody was different and you got humans and everyone just coming together and things like that, regardless of what they look like, and robots, because you got Nebula. What is she, a cyborg? Yeah, so she has like she's a bit of human, I guess, or not, like an alien.
So you see, Nebula in the movies, though, it was basically like an orphan girl that was brought into the Thanos's, I want to say cult, but
but it could just be his like team, his
family. He was brought in and was basically adopted by Thanos, but Thanos experimented on her, giving her cybernetic parts. For what was the reason why again?
Oh, like every time she lost a fight with Gamora, she then like lost a piece of her body part to just like be able to be a better assassin like Gamora.
So she was forcibly turned into a cyborg.
Yeah.
It's not like she had to, which is pretty horrible and messed up when you think about it.
Yeah, which that we're not trying to focus on that part. We're just focusing on the movie shows about strangers becoming family, and I really, really like that. So that's one of my favorites. What's one of yours, Dre?
I would honestly have to say one of my favorites, Iron Man 3.
Really? I'm really shook right now. I did not know.
Well, you see, I didn't just pick Iron Man 3 to put everyone in a loop. But in terms of the concept of what they were trying to do for Iron Man, I'm really down for it. Just like the quote what Brittany said earlier in the movie, the point of that movie was to basically demonstrate that it's Tony Stark who is Iron Man, not Iron Man the suit that makes Tony Stark.
You really threw one at me right now. I am speechless.
But no, this is the thing, though. Like, you see all of the powerful suits that he has, though, right? Like, he has so many suits as well, and we haven't even seen like a fraction of what some of the suits can do. The Hulkbuster suits was pretty okay, like I guess from what we saw in Avengers 2, but like the suits get more and more technologically advanced. But at the end of the day, it's the man that's made the suits, right? The ingenuity that Tony Stark has. So when he has nothing, he has to kind of like MacGyver his way out of a situation. Yeah. We invent something on the fly to kind of like get this out. The concept of him having struggles in the movie, where he had, I think it was PTSD or something like that. Yeah. Where he would have panic attacks.
Or anxiety or something.
Right. Yeah. Based on what his experiences in the movie. Yeah. But he had to basically overcome in order to save the day and save the person that he loves. Yeah. Like, people can say, yeah, it wasn't the best movie. And quite frankly, it does have flaws. But to me, what they were trying to do, I appreciate more because it speaks true to Marvel characters as a whole. Where they're not super powerful. They're people first. Flawed individuals like you and me. But we can rise above with what we are capable of doing. Tony Stark is a genius inventor. And what he can do is, using his literal heart battery like a power source, make inventions and protect himself. Not every time you're going to see Tony bust out the really powerful suits, Iron Man suit, to, save the day. But Tony, the person, is what's saving the day. Well, it's not a movie that I can go back and say, oh man, I can rewatch this. Because I loved it the first time I watched it. And I watched it again, and I started to see the cry. So
yeah, because that's why I'm surprised, because it was like there was this bad guy in that one, if I can remember, and he wasn't even a real bad guy. He was an actor. So this is why it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, that was a really good movie. If anything, I really like the first one. My next top pick of one of the Marvel movies that are out there is Captain America Winter Soldier. Okay, this one is my movie. Now, can I just say, I never come to the movies having high expectations when it came to Marvel movies for a while. So don't think I was a Marvel fanatic from the get. It took some time for me to get to this place where I'm like, I root for Marvel, because even Captain America, when my brother was like, you're going to like this one, you know, because he saw it already. And I was just like, I saw the first one and my goodness gracious, it was just so boring, you know? And my brother's like, yeah, I know, but this one, you're really going to like it. So we watched it, and I was at the edge of my seat. I loved Bucky. I just loved every action sequence they got in there, and it was just so cool. So the action side of it, for sure, is worth it. If you're an action fanatic like that, then watch it for that, because there are some really cool action scenes in there. And for me as well, what I liked about this movie was that, you know, the conflict that was between Bucky and Steve Rogers. You know, it's not that Bucky didn't like Steve Rogers anymore. Bucky wasn't Bucky anymore. You know, he was brainwashed, and you just see where that broke Steve's heart, if anything, whenever he was like, they're like, Bucky, you know, and he's like looking at him like, who are you and why are you calling me that? Like, how do you know my name, kind of thing? Like, what's our history? Like, you know, and Steve Rogers is there like, you know, you left, you know, newspapers in your shoe. Well, actually, no, that was Bucky telling Steve that. But you get the point. I just love those two. And I just loved in Winter Soldier, you see Steve fighting not to hurt him and just, like, get his friend back. Now, spoiler alert, because I'm about to ruin the ending. You see the ending where they both go in this big crash, and Steve and Bucky are just, like, fighting it out and all that. What is it, the spaceship? Was it, like, a spaceship or one of the shields thing?
It's the helicarrier.
So when that thing crashed and everything, you see at the end Bucky pulling Steve out of the water. Like, that's so cool and so sweet, and just even though Bucky doesn't know him, he just did it. You know, he didn't stay there to say, "Okay, I remember you" or anything, because I think Bucky wasn't even back to Bucky anymore. It was just that act of kindness of, like, I think he used to be my friend, that kind of history. I don't know. Why do you think he even did that in the end of the movie? I mean, we all know what happened afterwards, but still, like, that was a pretty powerful scene to me, and I just thought it showed the power of forgiveness. So I thought that was a very positive thing to come from, you know, that part. Power of forgiveness for not that Steve Rogers did anything to Bucky, but just the two were able to kind of just, you know, amend in some weird way. I don't know. I just really liked it. And how Steve loved Bucky. He just will do anything for his friend because he remembers when Bucky was there for him, you know?
Well, here's the thing. Like, when it comes to, like, one of my favorite movies, always top 3, honestly, top 2 movies for myself is also Captain America Winter Soldier. And the message why I latch onto it more than anything else is actually really simple. Be true to yourself. When the whole world looks at you as a literal antiquated grandpa. It's like Nick Fury, right? Who's no spring chicken in that movie either. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Is looking at this man as if the world has changed. Your way of looking at things is adorable. But let's be serious now.
Yeah.
We don't live in that type of world anymore. And the whole movie, you see Steve Rogers, like, really just coming to terms with that everything is different. Things have changed. It's the little things, too. When he goes to his apartment and you see him take up a vinyl cassette, ready to play it. Dude, just take out your iPod.
Yeah.
Or your iPod, sorry. But, like, or
get a cell phone, you know?
Well, even that. Like, have you seen him ever use a cell phone?
No.
He would probably take out in a backpack one of those old World War II radio sets and start to say, hello, Iron Man, this is me. But what I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is that he is a man out of time. That's always been the core struggle that Captain America has had.
That's true.
But with this movie, throughout the whole movie, Cap is true to who he is.
He's not changing for anybody. He's just being himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, he's the type of person that he is. He's not going to adapt for the new world. And he's not really demanding the world to change for his old sensibilities. Because he even gets made fun of in the later movies, too. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, people chose to follow Steve Rogers. People chose to follow Captain America because I believe in this guy. I see him as someone that is trustworthy and thing. And what he says is like, look, things have gotten bad, but I believe that we can do better. Yeah. I believe you can do better.
Now, we came up with we both had said our second favorite movie, basically, because you agree with me on that one. Okay, so my third top pick of one of the Marvel movies is Thor Ragnarok, number 3. Okay, I love this film. It's just so good. I love how Thor is not trying to be, Shakespeare. He's a little more stupid, but okay, that's a terrible reason.
Barely.
I'm just saying he's not dumb, but he's just like I just like that one. Okay, the positive in that one I actually found was the relationship with him and Loki. I liked how they worked together, and even though they had such a bad history, and Loki's always trying to kill Thor and just take over the throne. I like that this movie they worked together and such, and I like Loki in this movie, to be honest. He was really cool watching him and seeing him being nervous and such like that. I like it. I really like that one. It also focused on helping people. It focused on, looking at your past doesn't determine your future, because when Thor looked back on his father and what he did with his older sister, who came back being the villain in this film, it's really cool to see where he didn't allow that to stop him from being whoever he wanted to become. And in that movie particularly, we all know what happened in Endgame and stuff. That was a bit rough to watch, but but it was still nice to see in Thor Ragnarok 3 where he took charge. He made sure to save the people of Asgard from his crazy sister Helena. So that's one of my top picks that I suggest you guys watch. I mean, hopefully I didn't spoil too much, but it's really good. I loved it. It was very entertaining. I liked the relationship he formed with Hulk, who, for a while I didn't even know Hulk could talk. I think that ruined the Hulk for me. Because I liked how Hulk was just like, Hulk smash. Because, when he said Hulk smash, that was it's like a child say their first word and you're like, oh my gosh, they said daddy, they say mama. Well, it's like that with Hulk where I'm like, oh my gosh, he spoke and he's angry and he's smashed and stuff. Now we're now in Thor Ragnarok 3 where he's just like, I Hulk, you Thor, that kind of thing. I'm like, okay, this is a bit weird. But at the same time, it was still an awesome film. So I really recommend you guys watch it if you haven't seen it yet. What about you, Dre? What do you think? What's your third top pick?
My number 3 movie is Black Panther. And I gotta be honest, I was really looking forward to the Black Panther movie for years.
Yeah, guys, okay, I had no idea what Black Panther was when it came out. I honestly was just okay, Black Panther. Oh, actually, no. From what's it called? It was no, it was.
I'll fill you in.
It was Civil War. I got it. It was Civil War, and that's when we were introduced to Black Panther. But if you remember Black Panther and Civil War, he was more all about revenge of his father's death, which I get it. It totally makes sense. You want to avenge your parents' death. Got it. But still, I didn't really like the guy. I really didn't. I wasn't oh man, what a cool random character coming out of nowhere, some kind of thing. But Black Panther, now, that movie was awesome, but not my favorite. But it was awesome. I will still be saying to my friends, Wakanda forever. I feel that. It's still an awesome chant and everything. But yes, continue why you love Black Panther so.
With the Marvel movies as they are, they basically, to some extent, have to maintain the original characters. Mm-hmm. Black Panther is pretty much a blank slate. And he's had a lot of comic books. but the man is extremely stoic in those comic books. So when you see Black Panther crack a joke or two, like, or you had him in Civil War, and he just like move, or I'll make you move, and you see Black Panther, and you're like, as interesting as that might be, we have stuff to do. I was just like, who that? Did Black Panther just crack a joke? No, this is the most stoic man on the entire Marvel universe. It's like having Batman say "Walla Walla Woola."
Oh my god!
Or something like that. You see, you're like, did he have a stroke? What happened to Batman? I liked Black Panther because I knew going in, I have no expectations. Like, I knew going in that this movie is going to be really interesting in the Marvel universe, the sandbox as it is, when it comes to the movies. Yeah. And Black Panther as a superhero and T'Challa as a king, without his father, he's already dead and gone. So one of the recurring things in Black Panther is all like, I must revenge my father. That's out of the way.
Yeah.
In Civil War.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to sit through that and watch that whole thing for the Black Panther movie. So it was really interesting to say what are they going to do with this Black Panther movie now? Like his own standalone movie.
And that's what makes me think, because I literally dragged my sister, to the movies kicking and screaming because she was all like, I don't know. I'm like, Britt, you will like this one.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not looking forward to this movie. I was only going because it was his birthday at the time, and I wanted to take him for his birthday to see Black Panther. But I'm just saying, like, it was a struggle for me to be excited. And once I sat there and watched the whole movie from beginning to end, I called my mom and say, I bought you tickets to see Black Panther this weekend. Like, it was that good.
We went to go see it opening night Thursday.
Yeah.
I believe we bought tickets, best seats in the house, for the Saturday.
Yeah.
To watch it again.
Yeah, and we got my mom and dad to watch it, and it was so good. And I just remember that day, we were all happy, and it was just a fun morning movie we watched. And that movie was good. I can't say it wasn't. It's a good movie. It's just not my top. I don't know. Maybe it's because I watched it too many times. But still, it's like I watched Guardians so many times, and yet I'm not tired of watching it. But Black Panther, I don't know. He's not my favorite superhero, but that was a good movie too. That's a good top pick you gave the audience right there. I gotta agree. One of the things I really liked though was the messages in the movie. Like just looking at the villain side of things and what's Black Panther's name?
T'Challa.
I knew his name, but I didn't know how to say it.
It's T'Challa.
T'Challa. Okay. T'Challa, I liked how he looked at the situation. It's like the same problem, but I like that the movie showed different views of that problem, of like how, okay, now I forgot the villain's name. No, I remember him as, it's Killmonger. That's his name.
Is that Warmonger?
No, Killmonger.
Okay.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan's character, I liked him. Not because he's Michael B. Jordan or anything, but just the fact that, like, just his views on situation, I could understand where he's coming from. Yes, his approach was wrong, but I can sympathize or empathize.
That's why I get scared. Because I don't sympathize with Michael B. Jordan at all, and in fact, because of his situation, I get upset with him. Here's the thing, like, this guy just wants perpetual war and strife and hatred. And Black Panther was there. Like, after Civil War, he's like, no, I'm done with this. I don't want war. I don't want this strife.
Right, which is why I like how Black Panther now, he's that, harmony kind of guy. He wants peace and harmony. And this is why I like him too. But I understand Killmonger's like anger, but I'm not saying, his approach is right, because even Black Panther understood it. He was just like, I get it, but there's another way. So that's what I like about the movie. If I were, my thoughts on it, I feel there are problems. There's many problems, but there's always a solution, and there's always that common solution as well, where we can all work together and not fall apart. There's unity. There's always a way to unify together to solve something. And then you could see that at the end of the movie where...
What was it, though?
In the movie?
Yeah. Because one of the things that T'Challa was having a really hard time with throughout was the traditionalism within Wakanda?
Wakanda, yeah.
Wakanda. Yeah. The traditionalism within Wakanda. Mm-hmm. And remember, he is a prince that is now coming into the throne. Mm-hmm. The Wakanda is basically a monarchy.
You know what? I noticed, I feel like he started to listen. Because even his sister, Suri, was saying, hey, this will do this and this will do that. And then even the girl, Nikita, I think?
Nikita, yeah.
Yeah. She was explaining how there's so much people in need in the different situation. And, like, he started to now, like, pay attention, I believe. I believe that's what, it's like, maybe for me, from what I saw in that movie, it's like take time to listen to one another and just like try to understand people's different point of views and see if there's a common way to like get together and help make a difference. You can learn so much from that movie and just kind of it helps for me as a viewer to see different sides to everyone's point of view, not just Black Panther's side or Killmonger's side, but Nikita's side, Suri's side. I like that in a movie where it really makes you think. It really shows you all these different situations. So that's a good pick. I do recommend, if you haven't seen Black Panther, you got to see Black Panther. And the next one I have here is Civil War. I love this film. It was so good. Action-packed, really good. I love the scene. And I just love how, like, oh man, it takes you on an emotional toll, because now here's a spoiler alert, so please skip this or watch it first before I tell you this. When Iron Man found out that his parents were killed by Bucky, and you see Steve Rogers jump in and try to help Bucky out, and it was just, oh my gosh, my mind was blown. That fight scene was everything. Oh my goodness, Dre. But let me just find the positive in that. The positive was, towards the end, Iron Man did let it go, and he helped his buddies get out of jail and stuff. So you could just see there was that bit of forgiveness. But it broke my heart to see them fight. But it was the coolest fight ever. Andre, anything you got to say about it?
Other than the fact that it's another movie that has Bucky in it that you really like.
Look, I'm not saying I love Bucky or anything, but I love Bucky. He's so cool. I don't know, maybe I feel sorry for Bucky. Like, he kind of got, like, handed a pretty bad deal.
I'm just saying. But no, like, when it comes to Civil War 2, I was probably one of the biggest people before this movie coming out. Yo, watch this movie. This is the real Avengers 2. Marvel fans, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Civil War was the real Avengers 2. In Civil War, right? The movie basically started off with two friends, the best of friends, having a disagreement on a rather important topic. This is something, though, they're basically friends, but they also have a bit of a working relationship.
Well, right, because I remember, now that you're bringing it up, it's like, yeah, there was a disagreement about, like, having not to just take things into their own hands and be heroes. It's like, wait for the government or so to, like, say, yeah, you can come in and help. Like, Iron Man was just like, we don't want to, like, kill any more people. Like, sometimes we're saving people's lives, and then yet there's, like, a building. Our powers just made a building collapse and people died. And it's like, he just feels guilty. And it's like, the person was making that call. No one asked for them to do that. And so it's like, in order to just, like, help not damage any more things, he just wanted to say, wait until they call us. And Cap was like, oh yeah, wait until they call us, and then what? Like, the situation's not solved, and then that's where the whole dispute happened, right?
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, to the podcast namesake, you can have one topic with your friends that you just don't agree with.
Yeah.
Like, something like, it's just like, I'm sorry, man. Like, you're just wrong. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, so, yeah, let's agree to disagree. have a handshake. Mm-hmm. Granted, the Civil War movie, though, didn't really go that route because they weren't on speaking terms pretty much after what went down in Civil War. Mm-hmm. But the important thing, though, in general, even though they had a fight and stuff like that, and that movie as a whole, if they had talked it out, they probably could have come to agreement. Like, Iron Man probably would have not gone into Berserker Rage if they were able to talk it out, or if Captain America wasn't blindsided by what the villain of the movie was trying to do.
Another reason why Civil War was good, I like that scene with Black Panther where he finally gets the guy who got Bucky to kill. Was it Bucky who killed him?
No, it was actually the guy. He
dressed like Bucky to make people think it was Bucky.
Yeah, SHIELD has crazy advanced technology, so they can use synthetic material to project on your face, and you can kind of like look like somebody else entirely. So that person that we saw walking out wasn't actually Bucky. It was the bad guy with a face that looked exactly like Bucky in a wig.
Yeah. So then what the part I was just explaining, though, is where Black Panther finally gets this guy who killed his father. And he sees how he's miserable with trying to avenge his family. And, like, you see him, his plan worked because his plan all the time wasn't really so much, I mean, it's still messed up, but wasn't so much to kill the king of Wakanda, was to just get Iron Man and Cap and literally destroy the Avengers. That was his whole plan. And you just see Black Panther like, look, you got what you want and you're still miserable. I'm not going to live my life being bitter and angry with full of revenge. I'd rather have peace. So he didn't kill the guy, but he took him to jail for sure.
It was worse than that. What? This is what the man said. Like, I'm sorry that I killed your father. He seemed like a dutiful man, but I did what I had to do. Then to hit the gun to his head to thing. He got what he wanted. He got discord within the Avengers. Now he's done. And Black Panther actually had to stop him from killing himself and bring him to jail.
Yeah.
This guy was like, I want the world to burn. Peace out. Mm-hmm. That's how gone he was.
But it's true, and some people out there actually think like that, which is messed up. But Black Panther stopped him from that and said, "No, man, I'm taking you to jail." And that's what happened. So with our last one here, I have for my last pick. But you have one.
I would probably pick Civil War as one, but you know what ekes it out? And it's kind of like funny I put this one in because this movie I was so excited for it.
I don't know.
Excited.
Is this the same one I have?
I'm pretty sure it's on your list too.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. She already knows. Like, if you had a camera right now, you can see her making her face right now. So it's like, here we go again. So
what's your pick?
My pick right now, my number two, and my number, like, I
think we lost track of numbers. These are just our top picks of Marvel.
So this is one of my top picks of all time, and probably one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm putting this on the list with Summer Wars and Inception.
Okay.
I love Avengers Infinity War.
Yo, that is the same thing as me.
She's literally saying, "You got it."
No, you don't understand. Infinity War was so good. I mean, I was blown away. I mean, I was just that moment.
Just for some context, we got the movie tickets, right?
Yeah.
I was devastated. I was on the floor in tears, man. I was so devastated that we had to go watch the movie on Friday night instead of Thursday night opening.
No, that was Endgame, not Infinity. Infinity we saw opening night.
Did we really?
Yes, and
it was Endgame?
And I was on the trip. And you told me on the phone that you got Infinity tickets for my birthday.
You got it.
Yeah. Imagine you're on a trip. You're not thinking about anything. But,
yeah,
you know,
you're right.
and my brother calls me and he's like, guess what I got for your birthday? And I'm like, what is it? And he's like, Infinity War tickets. And I'm like, get out of here. Are you serious? So, yes, Infinity War was, and it's still, I will watch that over Endgame any day. I will actually go in my room and just be like, I'm going to put on Infinity War. I really like that film. Endgame, don't get me wrong, it was a good film. But it just felt like, till this day, it still makes me feel uncomfortable to watch it because it's like, it's really telling me it's the end. Because I don't like to see Iron Man or Captain and all those guys go away because in my mind, I'm like, they're supposed to just kind of like be chilling, but not like gone. So sometimes I just for my heart to not ache, I don't watch Endgame.
You felt it in your heart.
I did. I love watching Infinity. I loved seeing everybody getting together. I mean, even Cap and Iron Man haven't spoken to each other in so long, and you saw how the Hulk was like, I'm gonna call Cap, and you know, you just see everybody working together. Well, actually, Cap and Iron Man didn't really work together, but, you know, Iron Man was doing his thing, Cap was doing his thing, Guardians were doing their thing, Spider-Man jump in. It was just cool to see everybody getting together, and then Black Panther came back, and Bucky, and it was definitely one of those, oh my goodness, they're really gonna go to war, and you really didn't know how it was going to end because personally, I thought they would leave it in a way where it's a cliffhanger. That part where Thanos did the snap. Oh, my goodness. And I was like, oh, my goodness, what does this mean? And then people started disappearing. I was like, okay. And then you see Groot disappear. You see Bucky disappear. Wait, Bucky didn't disappear. No, he disappeared. Rhodey. And no, Rhodey didn't disappear. No, he didn't. No. Okay, you get what I mean. And then Spider-Man, like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so well. And things like that. It was just like, oh my God, what's happening? You're actually disappearing. Like, that was me. And I remember coming out of the theater so shook.
And here's the thing. See, I went into this movie expecting the heroes I wasn't expecting them to lose outright like they did, but I was expecting Thanos to just kill half of the universe. I was expecting that to the movie to begin with Thanos doing ultimately the.
You thought it would begin with the snap?
That's what I thought.
I thought, what I thought as well for going into the film, I remember thinking, okay, we all don't know, especially the audience don't know where the Soul Stone is. So I didn't think we would find all the stones. I thought they would leave that for the next movie to be like, okay, this is the end all be all to prevent this whole snap. But they found all the stones in that one movie, and I was like, dang, I don't like that because then this means he's actually gonna get the snap, and oh my gosh, I was heartbroken when Gamora died because then I felt it for Quill, and everybody keeps blaming Quill for Thanos getting away, but to be honest, guys, you really think Quill's plan was gonna really work?
I would have actually been really upset if Quill didn't react.
Yeah, I would too, because if he clearly loves Gamora, and if anybody out there you love, you don't reason, you just snap because that person is gone, and it's because the person in front of you took them away from you. You're not gonna just sit there and be like, okay, let me just wait for the plan to, go out there and finish up, and I'll take that care of Thanos. He just snapped, especially when Thanos was just sitting there like, Gamora, my Gamora, and I felt it for Quill. I was never mad at you, Quill. Honestly, I don't know who out there is, but I was never mad at you for snapping the way you did. I was proud, if anything, when I saw you. I felt it for you, man.
Britt, are you cheating on Bucky?
No, I'm not even with Bucky. What is this? You make it seem like I have a relationship with these characters. I'm just saying, I felt it for Quill when he was, mourning for Gamora because I love them together. So it was really sad to see that happen, and Gamora dying. I was like, wow, that was I was not expecting that at all. But yeah, Infinity though, I think the positive, and I like that they came together. Everyone put their issues aside and just worked together in trying to stop Thanos and his plan. So I liked that. I really did. And I liked that all these different characters just, meeting each other got into it and went into battle, that kind of thing. Because Rocket and Thor and even Groot, this little scene might not have been much, but I thought it was still good, where Groot was like playing video games the majority of the movie, and then when Thor was just like too weak to like summon his thing. It's the hammer drape. What's it?
It was called Stormbreaker.
Okay, so this is why you're here, because you could say the lingo for the audience who really care to know that stuff. The Stormbreaker, he couldn't reach it, like he was passed out and stuff. And Groot broke his arm to give, to have the handle on the Stormbreaker so that, Thor can then come back and be like, give me Thanos. I love that scene. That was a sick scene. Everyone lost their mind in the theaters when that came out. But why is Infinity War your top one, Dre? I know why I love it, and I can go on all day why I love it, and this is why I suggest you guys watch it, because it's really good. But why do you like it, Dre?
All right. This is the thing. When Infinity War, when I really stopped and was thinking about it, the main thing for Infinity War that came to mind, simply put, it's the cost of victory and versus overcoming your losses. The heroes, for once, definitively lost. Thanos, however, won. But just like little Gamora said in the Soul Gem, or the Soul Gem itself, it was kind of hard to tell, because the Soul Gem has always had a mind of its own. Mm-hmm. But it was like, you see little Gamora in the orange world say to Thanos, you won, but at what cost? And when you really think about it, Thanos basically gave up everything. And for what? His home is gone. His home of Titan is gone. It's never coming back. It's all of his loved ones, his family, they're all gone. We never really even got to see what his personal life would have been for him to be so tyrannical now. Thanos is the reason why I really love that movie. I went in having a good idea of what Thanos would be like, and I was thoroughly, flipped on my head. The movie Thanos is a fundamentally different person than the comic book Thanos, than the anime Thanos. Thanos in the comic books in particular has always been somewhat of a nihilist, calculating despot. He is not doing evil because, I woke up in the morning and
he's trying to I think it's a weird way of making peace, but then he's killing millions and millions and billions. He's splitting people in half and saying, all right, let's get rid of this half and leave the other half so that no one can be hungry, no one can be poor, because there'll be enough things for everyone. He thinks in his mind that's right. When this is why I like him, actually. Well, I shouldn't say that. My mom likes him. She actually was watching the movie and she's like, I get this guy. He's pretty cool. I'm like, Mom, he's the bad guy. But I get why she likes him, and this is why I think I've come to like him. But still, I don't agree with what he did, and I'm glad he's gone.
He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
But here's the joke, though. The reason why, what she's saying, I like Thanos, though, too, because it's there's a reasoning for it. He's not just crazy. He's not just insane. There is a logical reason to what he's doing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he won. And then what?
Yeah.
You can go throughout your entire life saying, I want to win this. I want to get this. Let's say Bugatti. I want to get this, I don't know, super expensive computer. And you get it. And it's just what did I do to get it? Mm-hmm. If you had to basically step on people, you had to really claw your back and betray things to get this promotion. Mm-hmm. And once you have that promotion, it's kind of hollow. Mm-hmm. And it's that silvering realization that the character that you lead is more important than the riches that you have in the end.
Yeah, that's true. That's deep. With that said, thank you, Dre, for coming on my podcast. This was so much fun. I'm so glad to have you on it, and you're welcome back anytime.
I'm glad to be here. This was fun.
Yeah, and so I hope you guys like our top pick Marvel movie edition. We'll have many more of these coming on our way. It's a new segment that I was thinking was pretty cool to do, and of course I wanted to start my first one with my brother here. So if you guys like what you heard, click that like button down below. Thank you guys for listening on this podcast, and remember to follow us on the social media platforms that are in the links down below. You can listen to this podcast on YouTube and Podbean. We'll be posting every Tuesday, so let's spread the positivity and look for the positivity, you guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.